Willie Cauley-Stein going to the Mavs for a 2020 second-round pick from the Warriors via the Jazz. So that second-rounder is going to be somewhere within the spectrum of what the hell is this pick even worth for the Warriors. But maybe they view that as more valuable than Willie Cauley-Stein. And maybe that's because they just don't view him very favorably. Maybe they just wanted to save a couple bucks or free up a roster spot. Stein, at this point, he's not young anymore. I mean, he's young in terms of life, but in terms of being an NBA player, he's, 25, 26? Yeah, has he ever become that multi-position, 7-foot center defensive god dude? No. Can he at least be a serviceable 5 for a team that suddenly needs one after Dwight Powell got hurt? Potentially. I mean, if we look at his season so far, his rebounding is cool. His finishing around the basket, it's 77%. Okay. Do we think he can set some screens for Luka, and then he could catch lobs and do some transition stuff off of that, and Luka can throw him bounce passes and just all the passes that only Luka and LeBron and a couple other dudes can throw? Yeah, I would assume so. I would guess that Willie can profit off of all that stuff. I mean, I think it'll be a pretty easy transition for Dallas going from Dwight Powell to Stein because they have pretty similar play styles. I mean, Powell was mainly a roller and a screen setter and a finisher for them, and he's probably a more reliable player than Stein is, but this is what they got. So I guess the other things to think about are mainly Stein playing within Rick Carlisle's whole thing, because you'd think maybe with the athletic gifts that Willie Cauley-Stein has, could he be unlocked a little bit more with Rick Carlisle? I think we saw a similar thing with Nerlens Noel. It didn't go very well because Nerlens, he declined the contract, which is really dumb. So he came into Dallas and he wanted to prove himself, and to prove himself, he basically just did a bunch of stupid things, like you're supposed to drop on the screen. No, he decides to step up on the screen because he wants to prove that he's some great defensive player. So hopefully Willie doesn't do that, and hopefully he just listens to Rick Carlisle, because if he does, then perhaps he could be a bit better of an impact guy. I mean, his 40 years with the Kings, up and down, overall, probably not that great. And some of that definitely being his fault, we'll be honest. But, this year for the Warriors, this could have been his opportunity to be like, oh, I actually can be a plus player for a team and playing 20 minutes a game or something like that. And then the whole roster got hurt. So now it's like, well, whatever. We don't know now, In a perfect world, he could have profited off of Draymond alley-oops, off of Steph screens, and that type of stuff. So now going to Dallas, a team that's actually worth a damn. Apologies to Warriors fans, but we know how the team is for this season. You guys will be back next year. This could be interesting for Willie Cauley-Stein, and it's pretty much a no-risk situation for Dallas because that second-round pick they sent out, it's probably not going to become anything. I mean, maybe it does, and the Warriors got themselves another impact dude because they're just going to find some diamond out of the rough, but they're probably not going to, let's be honest. And Stein's contract, it's like $2 million this year, and then it's a player option for next year at about $2 million, which, I mean, I would have to guess he probably would accept because it'll at least just guarantee him another year on an NBA roster because, at this point, if he hits the open market, I don't really know what he's going to get. I mean, he just did, and he got $2 million, so, well, per season, 4 total or whatever. So, yeah. That's kind of all I've got. I mean, is there anything else Willie Cauley-Stein could really give for Dallas in terms of shooting or ball handling or any of that stuff? Probably not. I think it'll be interesting to see if he's setting a million screens in Rick Carlisle's system, not just on the ball, but off the ball and stuff, because there's a decent amount of movement, and there's a solid amount of ball handlers here between Seth Curry, Tim Hardaway Jr., Jalen Brunson. I think that's about it. I think another thing this says is maybe Boban isn't really viewed by Dallas as their long-term, or not long-term, but high-minute backup center dude. Because, I mean, we all love Boban, and he's great, and his usage rate is like 1,000,000%, or at least it was before this season. But in terms of just playing him possession after possession where teams can go at him in space, it's not the best thing in the world, even if he occasionally looks great in certain minutes and things like that. So perhaps Stein can just be more of that typical, consistent center who can do some athletic things and kind of just be another version of Dwight Powell, but potentially have even a little higher of a ceiling. I think Powell's floor is definitely higher than Stein's, but again, with Stein, it's that athleticism and at one time defensive potential, which is probably still there. It's not like he's 30 or anything. So perhaps Rick Carlisle and this Mavericks team could bring it out a bit for Willie. For whatever it's worth, a lot of Willie's defensive numbers are actually better. If you care about this, like his defensive box plus minus is better, which, well, I have no idea what that means, but okay, that's there. His blocks are up, and he's also playing less minutes. His steals are about in line, but again, he's playing less minutes, so okay. Could be something there with Willie Cauley-Stein. This could end up being a thing for Dallas, could end up not being much of anything. We're all going to forget about it 5 days from now. But if you tune into a Dallas game and you catch the minutes where Willie's in there, it might look pretty good. Is he going to start over Maxi Kleber? I mean, I think Kleber's a better player, but maybe. Although for what it's worth, against Portland last night, they did start Porzingis at center, so for whatever that all means. Could Stein and Porzingis together unlock some crazy thing? I don't know. I don't think Willie has enough of an offensive game to really have that be much. I mean, in terms of athleticism, those two together could be something where, especially if Porzingis is ready to go after the ACL stuff, which who really knows with that kind of thing. But if you got two bigs who are able to sprint down the floor like that, and two guys who can come out of nowhere for blocking shots and stuff, okay, again, the idea of Carlisle unlocking Stein's defense a little bit more. So yeah, that'll do it for me. I'm kind of repeating myself at this point, but Willie Cauley-Stein to Dallas for a second round pick. That's an NBA trade for you.